Shalom, shalom. This brother Kapaya Yash with another video, another Sabbath day. Today is this the last part of the Sabbath, November 1st. A lot of you men and women, mostly women, didn't get their money on their EBT card. So, hey, that's what you get when you rely on the system too damn long. You still, you start to get used to it, and now that it's taken away from you, now it's almost like you lost your job or you lost your children because their money ain't there. So as you can tell, I'm kind of dry on what I want to talk about. I'm kind of frustrated a little bit because I did a video on this guy right here, Drewski, if you can see it, right? And my video, it won't show it. Just when I try to format it does that. But that's just I don't know, it could be something that I'm doing wrong, or Esau, he have a hand in everything, but that's pretty much it on that right there. I'm just kind of rambling a little bit. Like I said, I'm kind of dry on what I want to talk about, so a lot of times I hear brothers just say hit the button and let the spirit flow. And I was listening to a brother out of Chicago. Can I pull up his YouTube handle? And he was going in talking about your enemies, your first enemies will be the closest one to you. And he did a lesson on a father unaliving his son, and there's going to be more of that in the near future. And if you don't have that covering of Yahweh Ba'Shem Hawashai, you're going to have hell. It says here, let me read, I think it's Luke 12 and 53. And Shalakia, let me, like I said, I'm kind of dry in the spirit. Was at work all day today, so let me just start off with my prayer. Salakia for not doing that. Giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem the Kodash, and double honor to the men of Great Millstone that's out there on the highway and byway, pushing this truth day in and day out, also pushing this truth over the worldwide internet, reaching the elect to pull them out of a 2/3 state of mind so that we can be beamed up on those chairs of salvation to live in the kingdom under King David and the supreme King Yahushua, which he has the title of command and authority and rulership over heaven and earth. Though title was given to Yahushua by his father Yahweh. Also, I'm not a member of GMS, but I believe GMS has the 100% truth of the Bible to the Akim and Akwa, which are the men and women that listen, learn, continue to pray for more faith, repent, and fast, and keep the laws and commandments to the best of your ability. As it states in John 14:15, if ye love me, keep my commandment. Also Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. And also Salakia, I left my garment in my other vehicle. I forgot to take it out from doing another Sabbath lesson a week ago, and man, I mean, things are just kind of wild right now. So So forgive me uh, for without my apparel, my garment. But this word, the garment is not going to get you, in the kingdom. We just practicing and rehearsing. So I'm going to read um, the division between family members is going to be father against son, mother against daughter, daughter-in-law, however you want to look at it. It's going to start within your own family, especially if you got a big family and they all stand with you. So let me read it in the King James. It says here, the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, and mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So, and then on top of that, you're going to have, just like kids, hey, when they get hungry or they feel that you get more, it's going to be division between them two. It's just like if a father, let's say a woman had, she had two children, two different daddies or whatever, and one father, give his son more than the other boy, his brother, is going to be angry and jealous of him, and going to want to take, the stuff that his dad gave his other brother. He going to want to, break it or take it. There's just, division, the jealousy, and when it become a lack of food, then it's gonna be more than just it's gonna be hate unto death, because there's been a lot of situations where grown folks, siblings, have unalived each other, over a piece of chicken. I've knew a friend of mine that did that. He had got in some trouble and ended up in the pen for a good minute, and then got out, and him and his brother got into a little altercation over a piece of chicken, and my partner, he didn't make it. He got shot and killed in his mama's house. So it's going to be a lot of that. So you just have to stay prayed up, like the Christian church say. Your covering, you need to get in this truth and get this covering, so that you can be protected. The angels can be with you, because we're going to come. We already in the time where brother is hating brother. That ain't going to change unless until Yahweh shall come and deliver us out of this hellhole that we're in. It says here, even the women during this time, like I said, lack of food. People are they're gonna, it's gonna be Road Warrior 2.0. Says Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Says here, so that the man that is tender, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. So at one point, men were very delicate. They were more respectful. They help with one another. If you needed help painting the house, or you needed help mowing the yard, or just come by, just see how you doing. But now a brother can look at another brother, and damn near it can be somebody going to an early grave. You staring at me, or you accidentally step on a brother's shoe, and you in a crowded area, a crowded function. It's quick for our men to unalive each other. Esau, with the KKK and whatever agencies that he got, police force and all this and that, he don't have to do anything. He just sit back and just watches unalive ourselves. That's part of the curse. Again, Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. and he gonna be evil towards his brother. I'm telling you, uh, more than you can think of. Salaki, that's the he's gonna be more. I mean, he's gonna be evil towards you than any time that you have seen him be mad ever. Ever in life. Food. Just a cup of water. If he thirsty and you drunk all of it, hey, be prepared for something bad to happen from your own brother. You know, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom. Yes, husband and wife, they're gonna have fallouts. I mean, you can if they already if this man and woman already arguing and bickering right now, how much more when there's no water, when there's no food, when there's chaos in the street. Ain't nobody thinking straight. Everybody is pretty much on survival mode, afraid. Was it Jeremiah 30 and 6 said a man would be like a woman in travail, screaming and hollering, because he's confused and he don't know what's going on, and she confused and she don't know what's going on, and those are 2/3, and they going to get what they deserve because they make mockery, just like Dursky, just like what he did out there, in them streets, proclaiming to be an Israelite man from the IUIC. So hey, you already marked. Says that, and towards his wife's bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Don't be surprised that the husband, will come home and see those military troops hauling out your wife and kids, and the husband, the kid's father, there's nothing he can do. I mean, don't be surprised if you see him and he turn around and go the other way. I'm just saying. So a man, he's going to be like a woman in travail. That's a cowardly thing, but don't be surprised. It's just like a woman, she come home and she see her husband being hauled out, and she got the kids or she don't have the kids. Don't be surprised if she don't come to that house, because she do. Guess what? She going down too. Says here, the next one for the women, Deuteronomy 28:56. The tender and delicate woman among you, she's a pillar of rest. She was submissive. She didn't argue with you. She had your baby. She didn't turn you down for sex or anything like that. She always, uplift you as her husband. She didn't put you down. She had your back. She's in your corner, right? So that the man that is like the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. So your precious, because it also said that the glory of man is his woman. So don't be surprised. Your woman, she changed, because of what's about to happen. If she's hungry, everybody hungry, and the only way you can get this plate of food if you take that MOTB. Don't be surprised if your woman falls short of the glory and take for a plate of food. Don't be surprised if you and your woman and y'all never fought before in life started fighting over one piece, one little grain of rice. I'm just saying, you know, because we coming in some difficult times. You know, you don't have no money buy no food. You know, people already, uh, 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 um, looking through their window in fear because they looking to see if anybody gonna come in on them because after a while of people begging for food and there's food in the stores, they're gonna go what? They're gonna go in the stores, they're gonna steal. And they're gonna be deaf inside those stores, they're gonna be deaf in those parking lots. And then when that is all over with, there's no more food in the store, then they come there knock at your door. And here you are right here, peeping, because, during that time, men are going to be what? Afraid, you know? And like I said, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to start at home with your family. It's going to, and it's just going to spread. Everything going to be going on all at once, you know? Second Ezra 16 and 18, so like it. Second Ezra 16 and 18. We started 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrow and great mourning, the beginning of famine. See, yeah, famine. I think that's one of the biggest things that's on a lot of people's mind is not having enough food. You know, um, water, it's a major necessity too. But for food, you can eat fruits and have juice in it for the replacement of water. You know, but for as food, something solid, something that your body break down to replenish, to where it need to go. You know, when you don't have that, I mean, water just quench your thirst. It wash whatever in you out of you. Clean your liver or whatever. But for food, like both is a necessity. You need it. But food is I think is a little bit up there, and then water might be secondary. So like I said, you can get you can eat a lot of fruits, watermelon, oranges, grape, to quench your thirst. You know, the beginning of famine, great death. It's going to be great death for the lack of bread. Great death. The beginning of wars. We already know what's going on over there in Western Asia, not the Middle East, Western Asia. And it's going to be a civil war here, and the rich against the poor, the black, so-called blacks against the whites, so-called brown Hispanics against the whites. It's going to be everybody. Whoever got something, like Corey Holcomb says, if you out there and you shining, people are going to come to you. You better dress up and act like everybody else, like you looking for food or whatever. Because if you looking like, hey, you just got through eating a ribeye and mashed potatoes and stuff. Oh yeah, they're gonna check you. Don't be surprised they tell you, hey, let me smell your breath. And the powers shall stand in fear. the power should stand in fear is like, your mayors, your governor, people in office, because they have a lot of explaining to do. There's going to be a lot of people taking out these officials, high-ranking officials, these people that's supposed to be making decisions to make, as they say, America great, or to bring normalcy back. They gonna no, they gonna come after you. They gonna come after you. So let's go back to the beginning of evil. And like I said, this father, when I was looking at this brother Page out of Chicago, shot his son 12 times. Hey, somebody close to you, I'm telling you, they're gonna be one of the first people that you're gonna get it in with. The beginning of evil. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Well, I tell you here. Let's go to bear with me. It says this right here. See then that ye walk circumspectly. Be careful of your surroundings. Be alert and attentive. Know what area you at. If you in Chicago and you over in the hood, you're not supposed to be there, because you got a lot of EBT recipients over there on housing over there, and they're going to be the first one that's going to latch out at you, that's going to come at you. They for sure going to spin the block on you. Yeah, they're going to follow you. So it says here, be like not as fools, but as wise. Be mindful. Don't be hanging out at night in certain areas. Hell, even in country towns, small little country towns, don't be hanging out at night. Because you just like I'm trying to think of that guy named he's out of Alabama, and he said that don't get caught out there. You be like a Christmas ornament hanging from a tree. Here in these little small country towns. Especially in Vida. You don't want to go to in Vida, Texas. You for sure be hanging like a Christmas tree during these times. No food, no water, no hope. Everybody gonna be a dog-eat-dog world. So it says here, redeem the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. So we know that the Heavenly Father, He's going to protect His chosen. So don't get out there and don't go initiating stuff because you in the truth and you know that the Lord is protecting you. Don't initiate anything. Don't start nothing. The Heavenly Father said, get along with all men if it's possible. Don't go out there and say, well, I'm gonna call on Yahweh Bashim Shai and I'm gonna go slap this white man in his face. No, don't do that. You stay over there, mind your business, and you do what the Lord put in your mind to do, to stay away out of the clear, out of the opening, somewhere hidden, and you pray to the Lord, and the Lord, He will send you what you need. You need food, you need water, you need clothing. He'll put in your mind to go here, to go there. Even if a group of people have left out of a house, and the Heavenly Father could, just could put some type of, blockage and their eyesight that they didn't see it. And it can be, packages of we call those army type of food where you just add water. You know, it can be right there, right in front of them, and they don't see it. And Heavenly Father guides you in there, and there it is on the table. You know, there's nothing that the Heavenly Father cannot do, right? Hmm. Go back over here to 16. And it's lucky for the North. I'm out of town working, and with these hotels, you got all types of you know noise going on. Second is 16 and 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are set are sent as scourges for a minute. So, Salakia. Let me see what time it is. 8:27. So just bear with me. Just bear with me. Okay. Verse 20. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so cheap on earth that they should think themselves to be in good cases. Now, it was from what I heard from what is Amawar, I think Amawar, out of the New York camp. He had said something about that Trump, well, they was trying to get Trump to, I guess, reinstate the EBT, you know, and I guess some, well, from what the brother was saying, that it almost sounded like that he was about to reinstate it, open it up, and that kind of brought, when you hear something like that, you excited about them taking away that EBT, especially for from the people that really don't deserve it, uh, but when because we know that um, this is Esau deal, and it was his craftily counseling to do away with the so-called black family by giving our women those benefits. And now that he took them away, it's almost like we are rejoicing, because now you can't go around talking all that shit and leaning on daddy government for protection, for housing, for money, for education and stuff like that. Now you gotta get it on your own, since you left us behind. You shitted on us. Call the police on us, put child support on us. You've been taken care of. So now he snatched that rug out from under your feet. Now you have no choice but to come back to us. You know. But so anyway, he was pretty much saying that they might open it up, but I haven't seen anything on YouTube or anything on the news yet. So, you know, pretty much we just want this economy to fall. So in order for this economy to fall, yes, EBT, housing, the police force, everything has to crumble and fall. Let's get this here done and over with, so that, because we know due to Second Ezra 6 and 9 that that let's go to 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed it. And that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on the destruction of this man and his power. And he used our women, as a superhero. Our women are like superwoman. He used our women to destroy us, to destroy the family. Not all. So, it's just, women, they love that power. So let me read 21 again. Behold, victuals shall be so cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good cases. And even then shall evil grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Again, the famine is going to be dangerous, which is going to bring out the sword, which is going to lead to what? A lot of death. It's a lot of confusion right now of why a man would want to tear his country up. Why would a man send all the tax dollars to foreign countries? Because he is part of the clique. He have pledged his allegiance to the small headers, sending 40 billion over, to Israel, and sending 20 billion over to Argentina, plus another 20 billion. Money is leaving, but it's not staying. See, Esau, he has the money, to defend himself. That's why he went on and gave the military their money to put money in their pocket. Because listen, you have no military, you have no muscle, you have no strength, you have no protection. And there's one thing that Esau parade around and boasts about: his sword, which is his military, is a part of his sword also. Because if all those guys in the military decided that they were going to uphold the Constitution or whatever, they could have all got together and came out to who. 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. It's gonna be terrible. Like I said, it's gonna be fights against family members because they confused. They want to find a job and get out the house and start to spread your wings. When you were 20 or 19 or whatever, some of us left the house at that age. And you just wide-eyed, you excited, you get your first apartment, you feel like a new fresh breath of air, and then you start paying bills, then you start feeling like your mother and your father, but so when there's no hope, there's no future for your children, and the mother and daddy, they got a job that's barely keeping the bills paid and food in the refrigerator, and then guess what? AI come along now. Your mother, she lost her job because of AI. Now it's all on the father's back, or vice versa. Tensions rising. You look at the news. You hear about EBT being cut off. You hear about these females, mostly so-called black women, telling the world what they're gonna do. The ignorance of some black men and women get emotional. They want to run to the internet and go to social media and express how they feel, instead of you just looking in the fucking mirror, or go to your mother, your father, or your sister, or your brother, go to your best friend and rant to them, instead of putting your rant, what you gonna do online so that everybody can hear it. You criminalizing yourself. you know. So now you got mental anguish, you upset, you confused, you don't know why this man is doing this. Now it's bickering, now it's turned to fighting over food because food have gotten expensive. Daddy is not, making the money like he used to. They done cut his time. Now, people have to, pull out their box of pancakes and got a little bit left. And I remember a story when I was little, and my mom, if we was poor, I didn't know because when my mom always kept a smile on her face, and my father, he never missed a beat, he always did what he was supposed to do. And I remember one time that we didn't have anything in the refrigerator. We just had a little bit of pancakes in the box, and she made two big pancakes to feed herself and four other babies while Daddy was at work, and we didn't have no syrup. So in the South, you make you make homemade syrup. You get water at the time. It wasn't. I don't know if I remember seeing bottled water. You know, if they did, my mom and pop, didn't get it. We drank water out the faucet, and she'd get that faucet that faucet water and put it in the pot and get some nutmeg and what is it, cinnamon and butter and that vanilla nutmeg, and some brown sugar, and let it boil and then let it sit. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it sometimes, well, as a child, it was better than served, you know. But I remember that, and she cut it all up in small little pieces, and I'm telling you, we all was full. Sometimes, when you struggle, the Heavenly Father will, give out those mental gifts of survival. You know, get you a bag of rice. Get you something that's going to spread and last. Don't get anything, something that you're gonna eat in one night. No, you gotta get something that's gonna, like make a casserole or something like that. You know, but that's just a little bit of my growing up. So when food started to get short, then that's when temperature rises, and people get upset, and then there you go, unalive. Then when you run out of food in your house, then you get that knock on the door. Now you finna beg your neighbors to death until they come kick in your door or bust in your window. Now it's gonna be a shootout. So we coming to these days. Let me read 22 again. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish from famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. It's more guns in people homes than it is people. Cause you got some people that have 5 to 10 to 20 guns or more. So, and they got them in every room of the house. So it's gonna be a lot of death. 23, here you go, to death. Said, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So you're gonna see a lot of dead bodies. Forget about the ambulance coming and picking up, your dead brother, your sister. Forget about your loved one going to the funeral home to get, dressed up to be presented in their coffin. Forget all that. Forget about seeing a funeral home director or how much this gonna cost and that gonna cost. Forget about you call that when you don't have money to bury your loved one. Um, go was it go fund me or whatever. Yeah, you can forget about that. That ain't all. They're gonna be over with. All this stuff gonna be cast down. You know, all they're gonna be cast down, and you can forget about watching your loved one being buried because you gonna have to leave them there right there where they lay. That's their burial site right there, and you just gonna have to wipe your tears as you run and go hide somewhere, you know, and it's just gonna be food for the birds. That's pretty much it. It's gonna be food for the birds, the insects, the worms, and wild beasts. That's about it. Again, let me read 23 again. And the dead shall be cast out as dawn. The dead gonna be piled up like dog shit. Like you see dog shit, walking down or walking in the grass or whatever. And, sometimes you accidentally step in it, when you not watching, you're not paying attention. But this right here, you're gonna see dead people. It ain't gonna be no mistake. You know, it ain't gonna be like, oops, I stepped on somebody. No, you're gonna be stepping over people a lot of time. Trying to get somewhere. Shoot, imagine downtown Houston, and you trying to leave from from Toyota Center, Houston Rocket basketball stadium. All those people down there, and boy, everywhere you go, a lot of death. And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Everything is going to be out of service. Listen, everything gonna go overnight. It's gonna go back, to the old days. No electricity, no grocery store to go in buy food because you're hungry. No fast food restaurant. Something quick and fast. Ain't gonna be none of that. You're gonna become just like a wild animal, a beast, a savage. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. So look at what's going on with the farmers. Esau, he don't care anything about his own brothers trying to produce food. Esau don't care anything about the people that's under him. Esau only care about the 10%. That's it. So it ain't gonna be, now don't get me wrong, crops are gonna be raised. I mean, they're gonna be produced. But when this go down and people trying to survive and trying not to get unalive, ain't nobody gonna be out there picking corn, picking cotton, or picking grapes, picking tomatoes, peas. Ain't nobody gonna be digging for potatoes and stuff like that. Mm-mm. All that's gonna be left for the insects, the birds, and whatever else, worms, and whatever else, caterpillars, whatever, you know. 25, the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? Your apples, your pears, your peaches. If you do run across, you might have to grab you a few and keep on going. get enough as you can. 26, the grape shall ripen, and who shall thread them? Salakia. The rape shall ripen, and who shall thread them? For all places shall be doculated of men. So, who gonna get the grape, to thrush them to make wine? Because there's not gonna be no man to do that type of work anymore. You're gonna have men hiding in trees, hiding in the bushes, hiding in caves, um, hiding in abandoned houses, hiding in mountains. You know, they're gonna be everywhere. Trying to get somewhere where they can find food, and as they say, uh, 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 be seen. No, not Slocky, not that. Not to be seen and not to be heard. Yeah, there what's going to happen. You're gonna really eat your food, whatever you find. You're gonna eat it in peace. You know, it's gonna be bad that everybody gonna be afraid of each other. It says here. Uh, Let me skip on down. See, a lot of people, 2/3 of our people, um, some years ago, when they living all comfortable, they didn't think that this is going to happen so soon. And I remember a co-worker of mine, he's no longer working with me. He came up on some money. Well, his wife came up on some money, and he decided to go ahead and quit his job. So, but anyway, just a quick little story, and I'll tell him, you need to take off that old man and come, get some of this knowledge, get some of this truth, so that you can be protected, because everything gonna go to hell. It's not gonna be the way it is now, but in his mind, he was thinking that it's not gonna happen in this lifetime, maybe in the next lifetime. And I'm like this here. I'd rather go ahead and do it right now, get it over with, because in the next lifetime, guess what? You're gonna be right back here going through the same old bullshit. You have the information. You know who's the director of all this, which is Yahweh Bashem Shai. He the one controlling our spirit, and especially the spirit of Edom, making him do what he do, bringing in all these plagues, bringing in a lot of suffering, and that's why people are so, so upset, because they can understand who this man is, but they continue to trust men like him all the time. And the Bible tell you in Ecclesiastes 12:10 to never trust thy enemy. And the too many of our people that want to hold hand with the enemy, because they feel, well, I'm not in slavery no more. He gave me this job, or she treated me good than my own sister or whatever. Now you feel that you on the same page. No, this man here, he has a perpetual hatred towards you. And if Mr. Lockett, I guess a brother named out of New York again, Amawa, said that in order to get this thing up and jumping to get Jake, crazy like a wild bull in the net. If they open up the EBT and just gave it to white folks, you're going to see a lot of craziness in the street. Then it's going to become a race war more than a civil war. Esau, with his crafty counseling, can do that. You know, he can bring that insurrection. Second Ezra 16 and 70. Salaki. For there shall be in every place in the next city a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So they gonna come after each other. I mean, look what's on TikTok. These people, you got some people right now that are fighting and stealing food and stuff like that. But you're gonna have a lot of people, Esau and some of our people, that's gonna come after the man of the Lord, because guess what? We out there pushing the fall and downfall of Babylon. And you got a lot of our people and Esau and a heathen nation that are over here. They don't want to hear that. They trying all their best to get you fired. They trying all their best, to get you off the street. They trying their best, they get online, they talk down about you and stuff like that. They don't want to hear that. They're afraid to let this kingdom go. And you tell them that this kingdom, like I said in 2 Ezra 6 and 9, the beginning of Esau, Salakia, pretty much the ending of Esau's kingdom is the beginning of our kingdom. And you're going to live forever. There won't be no more one kingdom rise up and another one, come after that. No, it's going to be the children of Israel, their kingdom forever and ever and ever. It never will fall. You tell them that, they go in one ear out the other. 71. They should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So they're going to be like a madman after a while. So you're going to have enemies from your home, your own people, because they know that you out there pushing the truth. And you got some of your own relatives that don't want to hear that. Then you got, like I said, Esau, he don't want to hear that because he's afraid of the end time. He's afraid to let this kingdom go. 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their house. So yeah, you brothers, that's in the truth. It's good. It's a good thing to have a house, get your own place. But hey, don't put your love on your possession. It was a rap video by KRS-One. Love's gonna hit you. No, love's gonna get you. When you love your car, or you love your shoes, your clothes, your girl. You put all your love in that, and then when it's taken away from you, you lose your mind. You gotta listen. The stuff that I have, when they come take it or whatever, hey, I didn't come in this world attached, with my possessions. I had to work and get it. And the deal is, I know that everything that you get on this side it don't belong to you. Hell, even you don't belong to you. If you own a birth certificate, a social security card, you don't belong to you. Oh boy. '73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold and fire. Yeah, we're going to be tried. See if you're going to bow down, take the MOTB. 74. Hear, O ye my brother, my beloved. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So, we have to stay wholeheartedly under the covering of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. No matter what we face, let me go there. No matter what we go through, we have to still keep the Lord with us. It says here in Revelation 2 and 10, and Salaki, I'm getting kind of tired. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So, we gotta overcome what Esau have set up for us. And you can't look at what he can do. You can't worry about that. It tell you in what is it? Matthew 10. Bear with me. In 28, it says here, and fear not them which kill the body. That's 2/3 of our people, right? Because like when Jacob trouble is here. Like I said, I just saw a brother video where the father unalive his son, shot him 12 times. There's gonna be more of that. It's gonna start at home, then it's gonna spread out to your neighbors. It's gonna spread out to the store. It can come in any it can come in any direction. It can start at the store, then start with the neighbor, start at home. But either way, it's gonna come out. Either way, the word of the Lord is not it's not a lie. It's the truth. It can come out in any order. Said fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So only man can just unalive you. But the Heavenly Father, he can unalive you because he gave that man, put a spirit in you to unalive you. But that man, he cannot do anything with that spirit, with your soul. And the Heavenly Father can judge you and bring you right back into this earth, fucked up, in a bad situation, So, you want to come back in this world, with all your senses, with all your, your fingers and toes and both your arms and both your legs. You want to look normal just like everybody else. You don't want to come back in this earth with one leg and one arm and one ear and one eye and 15 teeth in your head. He can bring you back jacked up. So like I said, I'm just kind of I'm a little bit upset earlier because one of my videos didn't come out right. It just showing blank. And now getting in, I'm kind of tired from work, so you have to push through. You got to be a soldier for Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. You got to be diligent to the best of your ability. So I'm gonna end it right there. Hopefully this was edifying, and I'll see you on the next lesson, and hopefully on the next Sabbath. And I hope and pray that this one here or the next one be the last Sabbath, so that we can get out of here. We won't We want this man to move extremely quickly, like lightning, so that we can get out of here. So I'm gonna end it right there. Shalom.